So do you guys remember that video I put out like a month back talking about how to buy antique clothes? Well, I should take my own advice because today we have a disaster on our hands. My name is Margaret. I'm a historical costumer and textile conservator in training, and we have another extant costume video for you today, and this one is a bit of a horror show, which makes it perfect for Halloween week. I will say today I'm going to be wearing nitrile gloves, not because I'm necessarily worried for the textile. I normally do my handling with just clean washed hands. That's sufficient and honestly better for the textile, so that you can really understand what's going on tactily. However, this is for me. This thing is shedding like nobody's goddamn business. That's only one of the few problems that we are going to see today with this textile. So in the video I put out a couple months ago, I think it's called How to Buy Antique Clothes, I discussed sort of looking to make sure there aren't ridiculous alterations to things. And this one I should have looked at more carefully. It's black, it's super hard to see black in photographs, and I thought, okay, this piece is gonna have a lot of damage on it. I'm fine with that, I know what I'm getting, but it ended up being way more than I bargained for. I should have asked for more information. That's on me. It is what it is. We all make these mistakes, even yours truly. This, at one point, was a turn of the century, first decade of the 20th century, circa 1905, beautiful silk net evening gown. Abby Cox and Nicole Rudolph just made dresses pretty similar to this, so I was like, oh my god, I'd love to have one in my collection. These pieces can get really expensive on the market because they're fancy and they're kind of fun, and people like to collect them. So when I found this one at around the $100 mark, which, yes, that is a lot of money, but it's not as much as these normally go for. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go for it. Like, I normally buy about one antique piece a month. So I was like, this month is gonna be this one. But it ended up being a bit of a disappointment, and we're gonna go into that. We're gonna start off with this bodice here. And this at one time was a pretty gorgeous bodice. It had the high collar, the beautiful sleeves, and it was completely covered in this gorgeous silk net overlay. And this has, it's a beautiful silk net. It almost looks like sports net almost, but it's definitely original to the period. And, you know, it was a beautiful ruched large sleeve. It had these beautiful cuffs, and it had that just general shaping. If we look here on the inside, this was very well constructed. It had this beautiful buckram inner layer to hold it out. It had padding, it had beautiful boning, it has all of its original hooks. And you might be looking at this and you'd be like, but Maggie, something is very wrong. So, in what I assume to be the late 1980s or early 1990s, somebody transposed a polyester black satiny shirt onto this thing. The Astor collection by Lady Arrow. Size 4, 100% polyester made in China. They literally cut the bodice, so they cut it up the side seams and down the arms, and literally just sewed it straight on to this dang shirt. Like, oh my god, this applique is absolutely gorgeous. And then I assume they wore it to like a function or as a costume, and because it's silk net, because at that point it was, god, 80 or 90 years old, it shredded to bits. Because silk net likes to shred on the best of days, and this was not its best of days. So this is an absolute Frankenstein nightmare of a piece. Like, I took this out of the box and I was like, literally, what the hell is this? Because it's black on black, and in the photographs you just like couldn't tell. Not only is, so it's like the front side of the piece is transposed onto this shirt right here and here, and then literally the arm, the seams have been ripped open on the underside and just like attached to it with like really like a really crude zigzag stitch on like just a regular ass machine, the entire thing, and those stitches have broken a lot of the silk net. And then on the back, the bodice was just like tacked on, and there's such like beautiful features about this bodice. Like this back panel would have been gorgeous, and this waistbanding would have been gorgeous, and there's these beautiful crocheted hooks on there, and oh my god, they're so pretty, but like it's a monstrosity. In the other video, when we looked at some of those alterations, it was like, okay, like I can get past that, like I understand what's happening here. And even like the crazier ones, it was like, I kind of understand that I don't understand this. I don't get this at all. I'm like, I don't know who would want to do this to such a beautiful piece. Because it's not altering it, it's like literally transposing it onto a different shirt, and like silk net is just not gonna survive. Oh, it's so sad. So sad. She's also like kind of an oddity in a way too. She's made into something completely different by this transformation. So here on the skirt, we're faring slightly better. Not, just kidding, not much better, but a little bit. So first off, as you can tell, the banding that's on the skirt it's liberating itself from the silk net. It's just a tangle of sadness, really, you know, just liberating its entire self from the silk net, which I totally understand. But it would have been absolutely gorgeous. We got these beautiful lace pieces, the beautiful banding. We have these beautiful like appliques on here. These like sort of, I don't know why, but they remind me of like floral banana in a way. Absolutely beautiful pleated hem trim and a wonderful underskirt petticoat situation, or is that just more of the skirt? I don't even know at this point. Yeah, just like a wonderful skirt situation. Silk taffeta, weighted silk taffeta, so shredding itself to freaking bits, honestly. And then we have this portion of the skirt, which is just silk, disintegrated silk net at this point. And then we have the top of the skirt, which is where the alteration. So the person who was altering this, I don't think it was in very good condition when they were altering it. This waistband is made out of a thick polyester, and then it also has a thick polyester, completely non-finished patch on the inside as well. So what I think this person did was they sewed the waistband on, and then they were like, oh, the silk net is shedding apart while I'm doing this, because why wouldn't it be? It's like 90-year-old silk net at that point in time. So then they sewed this patch with that same zigzag stitch along the silk net to try to patch it, which honestly only made things worse in the long run. And then they did something really ridiculous, and they attached this bustle to it, which is 3 layers of that same really gross polyester fabric. This is really sad because you can see this piece had such beautiful details. It had this gorgeous silk net. It has so many layers of applique. Not only does it have the lace and sort of the silk bands and the silk appliques, but it also has beaded appliques as well on the bodice. This was a really nice high-end, potentially designer piece. The Petersham has been taken out, so we do not know if it was, and had the potential to be a fabulous antique that made it all the way to the 1980s or the 1990s, maybe even a little bit later, and then was unceremoniously sort of cobbled into this weird Frankenstein situation. Upon getting this piece, I was slightly disappointed, but also very intrigued. I'm a person who also kind of collects things like this. I try not to. I try to keep my collection kind of high quality to use in many different ways, but I'm a textile conservator. I like seeing how things degrade, and if something is in this state, it's interesting to see how this piece is faring. Granted, this piece is going to go into an extended, if not infinite, quarantine because it's not going in general population. It's shedding way, way too much. There's just crap everywhere, hence the reason why I'm wearing gloves, and it's honestly just really sad. I could do a whole video on altering and wearing antiques. Sometimes I think it's fine. Much of the time it causes a lot of destruction to these pieces, and a lot of the time the answer lies somewhere in between those two poles. But for this, I just feel like this is very disrespectful of the piece. This is a very, very nice piece. It should not have been worn. Silk net, even on its best days, it just wants to shed apart when you look at it. And to be really honest with you, what makes me kind of angry is they were altering this piece and seeing it go as they went, as evidenced by that patch that's sort of just like sewn on. So there wasn't a lot of love and care put into this alteration, and for that I'm kind of sad for her. You know, I'm very protective of this kind of stuff. I'm very protective of these antiques and this historic fashion because this is what I do. I'm a textile conservator. I work to keep these pieces in good condition so that they can be learned from and treasured for decades and decades to come. But, you know, many people say, well, you know, you should use things. We shouldn't just lie around and let them slowly fade away. And I think there is something to be said for that as well, but we can have that philosophical debate extended later. It's definitely something I want to talk about. But, you know, this is a little bit tragic, but also morbidly interesting. Okay, so I don't know how good of an idea this is, but I am going to try to dress this mannequin because I think it'll be really interesting, and I also think you guys will enjoy seeing it, but dear Lord, I'm not looking forward to this. This dress is making me sneeze, which is not good. I just want to show you too. This is the aftermath on my table. Like literally, oh my God. That is so much particles coming off. I should honestly probably be wearing some kind of like dust mask. Oh my God. Anyway, this is her on. You can't really see much because she's black, but oh my God, if she was in a proper state, she would have been absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. You can see that she still has that sort of pigeon breast fronted shape. There's that open, airy, it would have been beaded collar with the really high neck. Down on the skirt, you can see how that beautiful placement of the lines would have been. Oh my God, she would have been gorgeous. Obviously, I didn't tuck her in really great on the back there, but that bustle thing is hideous, obviously. So that's her, for better or for worse. So I would like to know down in the comments if you guys have ever come across a piece like this, if your family has ever altered one of their family pieces like this. And I guess I hope you enjoyed this horror show a little bit. I don't know, it's a lot, frankly. You can find me here every Saturday or Sunday. You can just press the subscribe button down below to be notified when I do in fact post. And you can like this video if you did in fact like it. You can also go over to my Instagram at Costume and Conservation and my TikTok over at Costume and Conservation and follow me there if you'd like. Otherwise, I hope you just have a fantastic day. Bye!